the horsemanship isn't actually horsemanship. It's a philosophy around relationships.
Mhm.
Especially for me, everything I have learned about horsemanship or the philosophy of relational horsemanship actually directly relates to human relationships. I think you hear people often say, oh, relationship is 50-50, marriage is 50-50. No, it is not. It is two beings putting in 100% of their effort into the relationship.
Welcome to the Mindful Humanship Podcast with Amy Monea
and Angie Payne. Is it possible that an animal, horses, can lead us to be mindfully human?
Join us as we discuss the wisdom of the horse and the impact they can have on our everyday lives.
Our conversations are guided between the reins of connection and mental health.
Thanks for joining us today.
We are on episode 3 for Mindful Humanship, coming to you from Raptor U7 Ranch and Wellness Center.
Let us know what you think of this hosting space, because we're trying some different things in the barn, and we'll see what seems to be the best, funnest.
Yeah, this is kind of cool. So this is our store area in the barn. So our boss, aka Amy's husband, kind of set us up with some lighting and things like that. So yeah, we'll see how it goes today.
So episode 3, we're listening to our first podcast, and although we liked what we were telling you, realized I'm not really giving you a bunch of any stories or examples, right? Or just short snippets of that.
Yeah. And we became aware of, when we watched episode 2, that Amy kind of touched on a story, but didn't really elaborate on what was it called? Stage 4 jerk or something like that.
Yeah.
You called him. And that would be AKA my horse, Romeo. So I'd love to hear the rest of that story. Or actually, I would love you to go back in time to explain how he brought you to the point of, having to learn to get a little bigger, or know that it was okay to get a little bigger and not emotional about stuff, and how impactful and powerful that can be.
Okay. I think just a little context around it too. We wanted today to be about kind of horse stories. That's all about horse stories, but really why interactions between people and horses and how they can be so powerful. So stage 4 jerk, Romeo. He's been at the barn for 10 years. So has Angie. They come together in a package, and Angie loves Romeo. And she often thinks he's just amazing. He's so perfect. He never does anything wrong. And I have not always been a big fan of Romeo. I know that she loves him, and that's great. Good for you. But he is not always kind, not always gentle, not always kind, and frankly, sometimes could give a rip what is expected of him or what he should do. Before the stage 4 jerk situation, I would call him stage 1 to 3. He'd oscillate between those stages. No, there's very sweet moments, and I've seen him do incredible work with clients. But when him and I would interact, he would often be pushy, kind of bump me with his nose, not really be responsive when I thought I was being super clear of hey, move over, or walk with me, let's go. And he just kind of seemed really I don't know, dull or non-responsive. And I thought I was being clear. But to back that up too, all of my horses are very sensitive movers. Their answer is always moving. So I never had to make them go or move.
Or encourage them to do that.
Yeah,
right?
it was always just soften it and shape it. And Romeo would just be nah, not doing it. And he'd bump me, he'd lean on me, he'd nip at me and kind of just push my buttons. And I would be patient and try to be nice to Romeo because Angie loves him so much and he's so important to her. But there were times I'd get really frustrated, and I would hope that, would hope that I wouldn't get paired up with him for exercises and stuff like that because he always pushed my buttons. He always seemed to just kind of lean on that stuff. So that was probably 8 years of that, maybe even 9 years of that. And I even got to ride Romeo once, and it was different riding him because he requires you to be so clear on like how you ride the whole horse, nose to tail, and you have to be a really good communicator. Anyways, so we go down to downtown Calgary. We're the equine experts for Stampede School. So classes in Calgary can come to the different sites in the city and do school for a week. They apply to this foundation and they get hooked up with different sites. One of those sites is Stampede School. And if a class goes to Stampede School, they get an animal day. And if they pick horses, then Angie and I are equine experts, which is kind of wild. And we take 2 horses with us. And the last few years, it's been Romeo and Tequila. So
I just want to say, like, the last 2 horses that we would have chosen to take to Stampede School, right?
Yeah. And the only reason we ended up choosing them is because one died. One of our regulars died. The other one got an injury. So, like, not really okay for him to get on and off the trailer once a week. So, okay, Romeo and Tequila, your turn. Here we go. They're really good at Stampede School work. Awesome. But one particular day, we take them down there. Romeo and Tequila hop on the trailer. We go down there, do our thing, and then it's time to go. So all we have to do now, we're done. We have to get the horses on the trailer and then like drive home. Drive home. That's it. We're done. Tequila hops on the trailer, tie him up. He's always anxious to get going. So his like patience in the trailer is not super great. He'll paw and stand there and bang around. And Romeo's turn. And Angie gets going. She's marching. She's leading her horse up to the trailer. She jumps on and he gets like to like not chest, but like knees to the trailer. And he's like, nah, no. And so she does her thing a few times. And I try to give Angie space to do it. Like in horsemanship, I feel like that's the right protocol. You always give the person the space to do what they think they need to do with their horse, right? And support them to do that. So I'm giving Angie the space. She's getting after him and like up and down and back and forth. And he's still right to that spot. Not doing it. So we have some flags and different things in the trailer that for training purposes and stuff like that. So Angie's like, you need to apply some pressure behind so that the answer is forward to get in the trailer. Okay, no problem. So here we go. I'm applying my pressure at 2 flags. I'm like, whoosh, flags are flying. He's moving. Just so we do that a few times, and it's nothing. It's not going. So I'm like swinging my flags. I'm like, okay, if you get in the way and I hit you with my flags, like that's your own fault. You know this. You're 20. How old is he? You're over 25 years old.
Yeah.
Like you know this.
Yeah.
You know what's going to happen.
He's been out of the trailer a number of times.
And just like it hits him in the bum and he's just like, Wah. In fact, I'm standing here doing this and he swings his bum towards me. And I was like, that's when I thought stage 4 jerk.
Yep. You were at that place that
he was swinging his bum towards me. And we talk about not getting emotional, but you were getting very frustrated.
I was like, get your butt in this trailer now.
Frustrated. The people we work with who call us equine experts are standing there and we're like, okay, get this horse in the trailer. A very wonderful team to work with. So it was great. But he's turning his bum towards me. And I'm like, jerk. Finally, we try again. I can see Angie's getting frustrated. I'm getting frustrated. I'm like, I don't know how we're going to do this, but I know we're not going to be here forever. Something's going to happen. Angie finally says, Amy, I need you to get bigger. And I was like, I'm a 10 out of 10. Like, what do you expect? I'm like, shh, doing this. And she's like, you got to find a way. You need to be bigger. It's not enough. because he's like turning his butt to me, like moving towards the pressure, not moving away. So I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do, but bigger, I guess. And so she backs him up, gets going, like goes for a walk around, gets going. I start, I'm like, okay, what's bigger than my 10 out of 10? I don't know. So I'm just like, and then I'm spitting and and he just like, do, 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 nope, walks onto the trailer like, why didn't you just ask? And I just about fell. Well, actually, I didn't fall over. I slammed the door shut, tied him up, get him in.
I believe you locked me inside with him.
Yeah, sorry, Angie, you got to ride back there too. But that was a big, powerful thing. And it's been so interesting since then because that horse and I's relationship has completely changed. I wouldn't say like I'm like so in love with him like you are, but we are like, I say like buddies. Like we are pals. And he still will push on me, but instead of being like, Romeo, don't do that, you cute little boy, I'm like, he's like, okay,
thank you.
Just carries on. And I also told you the other day, I think he like almost looks to me now sometimes because he knows that I can, which is like a super annoying lesson, but so grateful for it. And I actually enjoy being around him now. Like I'm happy to grab him and brush him and pet him. And he does, if he like goes to snark at me or just yell at him or not spit at him, but like
I do spit at him.
And he's like, oh, yeah, sorry.
Fine.
Yeah.
I do occasionally spit right at him, but yes, Romeo, we kid at Stampede School, so we've got Tequila who does want to follow the rules because that keeps him safe. That is the way that he is safe, is that I know the rules, I know how to, and I want to be a good boy. And so, Amy, you got this, great, and he's great.
Happy to surrender leadership, like you're going to lead, good. I can just chill out and not worry about anything else.
Right. Romeo, on the other hand, does not care whether you're leading or not. And I'm not sure that's the right thing to say. What I mean is that he is most of the time a very confident horse. He is in charge of Tequila, like he keeps things pretty okay in the pasture with Tequila. He isn't really afraid of too much. Like he's not a spooky horse or anything like that. So for him to need someone to take care of the environment, he really doesn't need that. But what he does need is clarity so that he's like, okay, you are leading it today, and I believe you. Okay, cool. That's fine. But he will ask questions every day. That is like, that's the process. Are you going to lead things today? Are you capable of doing it today? Yes, I am. And then he's like, okay, cool. Let's go do stuff. But he will definitely express his opinion, sometimes in a bigger way than he needs to. He's getting better about it. But I found it so interesting that day because they go in and out of the trailer all the time. It's no big deal. In fact, he would probably load himself.
Well, like some days he's like, get out of the way.
Yeah, I'm coming through. So it wasn't even that. And I've had some lessons like that with him. And I now know that that is the question he's asking of somebody. Like when he gets pushy or nippy, it's like, I need you to be clear because actually I can't hear you. Whereas if we had that degree of energy with Tequila, he'd be hanging off the rafters. Like, oh my God. Right. So I've seen Romeo do that quite a few times with people where he'll be like trying to nip them and getting all kind of pissy about stuff. And that's what he's asking. You know, the other day, again, we were at Stampede School. We had our practicum student with us. And so I gave her the opportunity to do my bit at Stampede School. So I handed Romeo over to her. And I kind of stood back and he was nipping at her and he was getting pissy and his tail was swishing. And the kids were like, what is going on? And finally, he took his head and bumped her pretty good. And I looked down at her hand and she had a death grip on his rope. And basically he was saying, whoa, 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 you do not micromanage me. It's probably the worst thing you can do for him, especially, but probably for most horses, is try to micromanage them. Like give them the opportunity. And all he needed was for our practicum student, give him the opportunity and be like, I got this. I know what I'm doing. But because he also pushes her buttons.
Yeah. And I think that that's a natural human thing, right? Like things get a little out of control or we feel like I don't have much influence and we like hold tighter and get shorter. Yes. And the horse Freckles, the horse who we used to take to Stampede School, passed away, same thing. If I had a hold on his lead rope and he couldn't move his head around, oh, he would be mad. And he didn't have much he was pretty senior and his teeth were starting to kind of wear out, but he would do the same thing. Yeah. And like just with his lips, like, let me go. And was amazing with the kids. And Romeo is amazing with the kids too. Yeah. But that whole, like, it's like so relationship based for him.
For sure.
Of like, yes, I need the boundary and I need the clarity, but don't like hold me so tight because I can't. Then I can't do my thing.
Yeah. What we've learned over the years, we have just the most amazing horsemanship person. Actually, we have two. And the horsemanship isn't actually horsemanship. It's a philosophy around relationships. And so, especially for me, everything I have learned about horsemanship or the philosophy of relational horsemanship actually directly relates to human relationships. And I think, one of the things that I love, you hear people often say, oh, relationship is 50-50, marriage is 50-50. No, it is not. It is two beings putting in 100% of their effort into the relationship. And so, I've worked really hard. We have our guy come every week and we build our relationship with our horses. And, and we build relationships with our clients. One of the things that is important, at least, when I think about clients and also Romeo or any horse, is that there are days where our client doesn't have 100% to give. They have 30% to give, maybe, or 40 or whatever. I have to be committed to the relationship enough to be able to say, yeah, I can hold the rest of it. I can hold my 100 and your 70. It's fine. And we can hold that weight or that space in order for them to find some regulation. Same with horses. Like, I expect that Romeo hold me up days where he needs to. So an example of that would be Brett says, aka the boss, we're going to go out and move cows today. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, they scare the bejesus out of me. They scare me so bad. And so I've kind of got to communicate to Romeo that you got to hold your shit together. Like, you can't freak out because I'm already freaked out. Yeah. So you got to hold your shit together. Yeah. And if you've built a deep enough relationship, that other being will do that. They will be happy to do that.
I'm just laughing, but thinking of a few different stories. So there's a few different stories about this. And I think this is like, there's two parts I want to say here. One is the difference between method and philosophy.
Yes.
That's important to revisit. But when I'm thinking about, you're talking about this, there's two stories that get in the way. And one is We call it when your boobs get in the way. That's the story.
You're going to tell that story.
It's your story to tell. I'm
Holy
just,
heck.
but also when you take your grandchildren
Yeah.
riding, because
Yeah.
Romeo, like when I tell you about him, you might be like, oh, he sounds like a real jerk. Wouldn't trust him. And he's amazing when on those days when you're like, you got the 150 or 175, and he's like, yes, man.
Yeah.
Then you pop your babe up there and off he goes, or he canters a beautiful circle. Like, talk about that a little bit. And then the next day he might need you to carry some, but yeah.
Right. So a few years back, my little, I think she was maybe 4 at the time, 4 or 5, and she wanted to go out for a ride through the cows. I'm like, oh my God, okay.
And Romeo loves cows.
Romeo does love cows. And so I was very clear in saying to him, you need to hold your shit together today because I need to attend to this little 5-year-old child on your back with me. And so off we went, and we went through the cows, we went through the pasture, and it was amazing. He did great. We came back. She was so happy. And it was just a great day. I was so proud of him. Oh, you're the best. I always tell him he's the best. Then the next day was lesson day, Wednesdays with Matt. And so I brought Romeo in, saddled him up.
So you did your like 2-hour warm.
2-hour
He takes
warm up.
good care of him. I like put some oils on here and I warm stuff up in the microwave for him.
Because he is 26 years old. So I spend a lot of time getting him prepped for this ride.
Yeah.
And so I saddle him up and I get on, and it's not going well. It is not going well at all. And so I stopped and I'm like, Matt, what is wrong with my horse? Of course, it must be my horse, right?
Yeah.
Don't we all do that? Must be the horse. Can't possibly be.
What's his issue today?
Exactly. So Matt, in his Matt way, was like, well, what's happened? What kind of week have you had? And so I began to tell him about how proud I was of Romeo the day before, and he was an angel, blah, 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 blah. And today, not so much. And Matt was like, oh, well, it's because he carried and knew that he couldn't freak out when maybe there was a few things that were freaking him out or making him nervous, but he carried on. Today, he needs to expel that. So he needs to move his feet. That's not usually a thing for Romeo, but he needed to move his feet. Had we have not been practicing the philosophy of relational horsemanship, it maybe wouldn't have gone the same way. But I took a breath and like, okay, you can move your feet. Let's move your feet. And there was also another layer to it. There's a way in which we're going to do it. Right. So it's the same as relationships. Okay, sure. I'm going to step up for you. However, you can't be mean to me. You can't talk to me that way. I get that you're having a hard time, and there are some rules around it. Mm-hmm. And it was great. So he was like, oh, good. He blew and he felt better, and we had a fantastic ride after that.
And I think it is like a little bit, the other piece is like, it has to be consensual, like in terms of, can you show up 150, or I need you to show up 150? If I can't, if I'm like, sorry, Ange, I am running on empty too.
Yeah.
It's okay to say that instead of like, sure, I'll try. And then I like end up projecting my stuff, and we're dealing projecting stuff that's not actually really about what is needed.
Yes. Yeah. And I think we have had that where one of us is, I really need to talk to you. I really can't do it today. Can you hold it until tomorrow?
Mm-hmm. Or like just a hug. Love you. I can't do it today.
Right. It's the same as a client. There's times where sometimes a client will get triggered kind of right at the very end of the session. And it's really important to hold that space for them. Make sure they're okay. Can you hold that, like you said yesterday? Can you hold that until our next appointment? All of the things, and make sure that at least they're okay. Yeah, right? I got you, and hug, or vice versa, and let's deal with this tomorrow, if you can hold it. So I love the relational horsemanship philosophy. It has, it's the guy that sort of is the guru of relational horsemanship, his name is Josh Nickel. And I would encourage you to look him up. It's Josh Nickel,
Horseman's Pursuit.
Horseman's Pursuit. Ooh, sorry, Josh. Um, and Romeo and I have been learning from Josh since Romeo was 6, so 20 years. And now we get the privilege of having one of Josh's mentorship students. Well, he's graduated now,
Yeah.
Matthew Doyle, who comes on Wednesdays. Also look him up, Matthew Doyle Horsemanship. It's a really unique perspective on horses, I think. And maybe when you look him up, you will go, oh, yeah, I get that. For me, it was very much somebody thinks about horses the way I do. I just never knew how to express it or what to do with it. But relationship with horses have always been very important to me. Although I think I probably was a little skewed at the beginning because of my own journey in life, was that relationship meant it was my job to do it all for him. And that is not relationship at all. But that was my definition of relationship.
Yeah.
And so the journey, starting with Josh, even today, like 20 years later, I'm still on this journey. I have a very different definition of relationship with all people.
And I think like that whole idea of philosophy versus method. Relationships are not meant to be put in boxes or methods or step 1, step 2. This is how you repair. These are the rules for repair. Apologize or take responsibility, apologize. Sure, that's okay to start there. But real relationships are based on philosophy, not scripts, not methods, but philosophies. And it's okay to start there. It's okay to start with scripts and start with things like that and steps, but philosophy also gives freedom to be yourself and to be true to who you are, while also working from that more philosophical based perspective.
Yeah,
I even think about that with social work ethics. There's like, for me, it's a philosophy. And because ethics aren't clean and clear all the time, but if you look at it through the philosophy of social work values, that is how you do like that. It gives you a compass.
Absolutely.
To navigate hard things.
Absolutely.
And I wanted to go back to a relational horsemanship and how when you started talking about it, I was like, boring. I was just going to be like, oh, what a good boy. You're amazing. All that kind of stuff. But it's not. It's about like, okay, what gives you the right to have expectations? How do you build enough trust and put enough into that bank to be able to have expectations of each other? And as the human who is like perhaps a higher order thinker, it starts with you. You have to be the one who starts to build that bank and build that relationship currency to be able to then develop expectations. And as the human needs to start meeting the expectations first, and then it can be back and forth. So we have so many stories about relational horsemanship.
And I want to just end by kind of saying, like, as the journey has evolved for Romeo and I, and probably a lot of my other relationships, he now has higher expectations of me. And so, if I'm not writing correctly or I'm not asking the same way, it's like, I ain't doing it.
And I think
thank you.
That story I started, I wonder if that was about that too. Like his expectations of me got a lot higher.
Right. And so as you begin to show up for somebody, and it's as it should be, as I begin to show up for my clients should have higher expectations of me. Absolutely. As you and I got closer, we had higher expectations of each other. It is as it should be. I'm not sure I believed that I had a right to have expectations.
Right.
And we all do. We all have a right to have expectations within a relationship, and also the other person has a right to have expectations of us. And that to me is a healthy relationship, and able to communicate those expectations in a kind, compassionate, clear way.
On that note, thanks for joining us for episode 3.
Yeah, thank you.
We're so thrilled to have you, and don't forget to subscribe below.
Somewhere below. And also, we're changing the plan. We started out wanting to do 1 episode a month, but we're going to do 2 episodes a month. So expect to see a drop on the first of the month and a drop around the middle of the month. So
we'll get those dates clear and be marketing them on our social media platforms and stuff.
Yeah. Join us next time.
Thank you for listening to the Mindful Humanship podcast. May the horse always bring you home.